So let me ask you. This is one I've always wanted to ask you. Is that okay?
Please.
No.
Well, I don't know. What is it?
Please, yes.
Hang on.
No.
Yes.
No. But again, remember. I can remember the. The time that I asked you, like, hey, like the story that I heard, like you were going to beat me up after WrestleMania, or no, the one WrestleMania with Steve and all that.
Yeah, that's my question. No, go ahead.
No, but I was going to say, like, but like, what was the real story? Because obviously we never saw each other that day.
Right.
I never, and because it's one of those things. So, and I don't know if you know. So it was, again, I was doing a book, and the guy goes, "Hey, is it true that WrestleMania 14 that the Undertaker came up to you and he was taping his fists and said he was gonna, if this doesn't go down the right way, he's gonna beat your ass?" And I was like, I don't think so. I said, I feel like I'd remember that. And then I said, I didn't see anybody that day except, Hunter and Steve. And so anyway, and then it gets out like, whatever, that I was lying or whatever. But I can remember going and asking Mark, because obviously at that time, I thought maybe this was one I forgot, but I feel like I remembered that. So I came back and I asked Mark and I was like, hey, I had this, interview with this guy and doing the book and, this ever happened? He goes, no. He goes, I feel like if that happened, you remembered it. I said, that's what I thought too. And he's like, yep. And then, I hear later on that maybe he did do it, but it was after we left or whatever. And I don't know. So what's
I can tell by his face he did it.
That's what I'm saying. I asked him. I just want because I just want to be on the record. Maybe saying he was the one not telling the truth in this. Is all I'm saying.
Please,
So let's
yes.
go. Yeah, here we go.
Please.
Okay. Hear me out.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
So, obviously, you changed
a
lot to the point where, obviously, we have a great relationship and a great friendship and all of that. So when you ask me about it, like I felt really, really bad to say, yeah, I was going to stomp your ass or try at least to stomp your ass if you didn't do business. Like I felt so bad because our relationship had changed so much, and I genuinely, as a person, cared for you. I was like, I can't say that I was going to do that. I just felt awful.
Yeah.
So I did. I lied to you straight to your face. I had every intention. If business wasn't done, something was going to get done. However it turned out or whoever got involved. I was dead set on doing absolutely something. But by the time you asked me, our relationship had. Not that our relationship was ever bad, but it was just, again.
But I never saw you that day.
No. But you know how the locker room is. And, it's like, man, I don't know if Shawn's going to do it. Or,
Okay, I guess.
So that's how, how it festers,
right?
Okay.
Well, that's what I was just saying, because they made, again, they said,
I
was just trying to remember, like, did we have, because we didn't have,
No, I had already worked. I had already worked. I worked with Kane. And I'd worked and I'd gone back and done everything, and then you and Steve had gone out, and then I came back to Gorilla, and I was like, I'd honestly gotten myself worked up, like believing the goof, the hype, like shit. He's a wild card, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say at least because I worked very hard to convince everybody, like,
yeah.
If I don't want to do this, then I ain't got to do it.
Exactly. And then you take that and you spill it in that locker room at that time.
And I will say, I would say that I was, at least at that time, I was, at the very least, a wild card. Easy, right?
Easily. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not a stretch.
Right.
And then everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. Took tape out. I went back. But I was gone before you ever got back.
Yeah.
And look at you owning it.
I am.
I appreciate
I have changed.
You have changed. He used to be a liar, and now he's an honest man.
There's a few times.
But it was one of those things where I've tried to fess up to the ones, like there's, again, I always go like the Rock one. I've asked Hunter like a million times, like, have we ever been in a fight, me and the Rock? And he's like, no. I even asked you, like, Johnny, you remember, like, me and the Rock getting in an actual fight? No. Yeah. So they're just hard. I mean, I don't, because again, there are ones that I go like, I don't know, maybe it happened, but I feel like the big ones, again, like this one, especially with Marco.
You remember.
I'd remember those. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
no, I wouldn't, and
those
I
are the
didn't
ones
do it.
that-
Like I was, obviously I had to be at Gorilla because if it was going to happen, it was going to have to happen. But I wasn't like I was, you know, it wasn't like the big pantomime in the, you know, so everybody could see. You know, it was just like it was a subtle thing, and I think somebody, I don't know if it was Bruce, but somebody picked up like, "What are you doing?" I was like, you know, and at first I didn't say anything. You're like, well, "Why are you?" Like, just got, you know, just in case.
Yeah, I got you.
And but that is the truth. Yeah, that was my intention, and I felt so bad when you asked me that time. I was just like, we've come so far.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know.
We would never look again because I believe me, nobody knows that they were tough to deal with more than I do. You know, so. And again, look, I'm always the reason I had said it because I said it to the guy. I said I feel like, you know, because that just like that wasn't his style.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was not Mr. Overly, you know what I mean, gregarious. And I felt like well, if Mark had done that to me, I'd remember that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it wasn't because I feel like if he'd have done anything, I feel like he'd went, you know, when we'd just have a little private conversation, he'd have whispered in my ear like, "You don't do this, I am going to beat the shit out of you."
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Got it.
Well, you know what? If I'd have done it that way, I think it would. If you even had those thoughts in your head at that point in your life, I think that would have put you over the edge. Like, how are you doing it? I'll take the ass kicking.
Look, I will say this. You know, and I was even saying that to the guy. I said, look, they didn't let anybody get to me that day because of that. Because I was so, you know, and I guess that's all I'm saying. Trying to make people. I always try to tell people, like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm tough. I'm not tough. I was just so I didn't care.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I felt like I had nothing to lose. So I would have, I would have just done, you know, anything.
Right.
You know, I mean, it just wouldn't have. I don't know, because you know, there are times, you know, like, if you can catch me and beat me up. I don't care. You know, you know what I mean? I mean, but that's what I'm saying. It just didn't. Yeah, it didn't seem like, you know, I mean, it's like I know him well enough to know, like, he'd have handled it way differently, I think. But I think, to your point,
it was such and two, it was such a. It really was such a vital part or a time in the business.
Yeah.
Like it had to go down like that because obviously you were injured, and
for sure
you were going away. We were hanging our hat on you know, about to hang our hat on Steve, and it was just such it had to happen.
For sure.
So
and that's the thing. Like I had it's one of those things where, like, in your mind, you're like, of course I'm doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I just knew like that was the one I needed to make them pay and sweat it out for them. That's how immature and childish I was.
That was the whole.
time.
That was the whole day. Like that was the because it was you were in your you were in your locker room. Paul was running back. Pat was running. Those are the only people that come in and out of your.
First time I've ever had
room.
my own locker room.
Yeah, it was, which pissed everybody off too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all of it. I mean, it's the perfect storm, right?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like the boys being the boys. Everybody's chirping, right? And everybody wants to see you fall at that, right?
Yeah,
in that
for
time
sure,
period,
absolutely.
there was just that element in the dressing room. They want to see you fail. They want to see you suffer. I mean, it was just part of the culture. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's better now. It's different, I think.
For sure, yeah.
But again, it's just like
it was a wild day. And again, I was so prideful in that respect. You know what I mean? And it just wasn't. And it did poor Hunter running back and forth all day, and it was just so
but that's the
that's the inside skinny.
That's the inside skinny.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's funny because I remember you asking me. I remember the day so clear. Not the day of the table, but the day that you asked me.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. Like, crap. Why did? I was like, surely he's in a different. He'll understand. But I felt so bad that, like, because again, it was just our relationship and where you know. Again, that wasn't on my bingo card in the early 90s.
Well, the other thing is we're bebopping. We're walking, I think, back from catering, if I recall, or something like that. I was like, hey, I'm just out of the blue, because it was again one of those things that you're doing, you're doing a book and you're meeting with the author and stuff like that, and one of those things that because that was one I'd never heard.
That's
you know what I mean? And
news to me.
And yeah, so.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Now my conscience is really clear.